Hello and welcome to another episode of the Halloween podcast. I am your host, Lyle Perez.
And I'm your co-host, Meghan Cunningham.
Meghan, how you doing?
I'm not bad. Still here in, well, it's rainy New Hampshire today. Yeah. But it's absolutely very fall feels weather. Spooky. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty rainy here in Tennessee too. Crazy thunderstorm kept me up most of the night. So running on fumes.
But it fits our theme today, though, that you were kept up by thunder and lightning all night.
It does, because today
you should have recorded it.
Oh, yeah. No, it would have been too loud. But today we're talking about spooky sounds, spooky Halloween sounds from all time periods. I don't think we have anything really specific to one time period. But I remember a lot of these spooky sounds. I did a couple of episodes where I talked about some of the Halloween tapes that I had, some of the cassettes, yes. And I played some of them. I got a whole new batch of other ones that we're going to play. And this time around, Megan's here, so we can actually get her reaction too. And it'll be a good time. And of course, since Megan's here, she's the history person, so she's got a lot of history for us.
Yes, I do. Sorry, folks. Just kidding. No, it's all really fun stuff. But I don't know about you, Lyle. These tapes were pretty much... They were the sound of Halloween when I was a kid. It just wasn't Halloween without one of these spooky sounds tapes.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't Halloween without going to either a Kmart or a Big Lots or anything like that and actually seeing the budget cassette tapes that were just floating around in bins or in just with all of the Halloween decorations. It was a lot of fun seeing those. Going to Hallmark and seeing the Halloween tape just hanging out there in the front counter. So... I was more of a visual, so seeing them, I remember talking about them. Actually, hold on, I'll show you.
This is going to be great. I love when Lyle brings out the nostalgia pieces. Like, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would throw these absolutely amazing Halloween parties. Oh, wow. Is that still in the container?
Yeah, it is.
See? Oh, my God. Unwrapped. Never opened.
So you'd be floating around.
Peter and the werewolf.
You'd be floating around the store. This would be hanging somewhere in an aisle, and you'd see it. I have other ones somewhere. I don't see them right now. They're probably at my house. But I have more.
Oh, my goodness.
I have a lot of them still sealed.
I was saying, my mom used to throw these fabulous Halloween parties for us when we were kids. And that was really my introduction to these sorts of tapes. Like, I was a kid at the time, so the first people who introduced them would have been the adults in your life. And as you get older, it became part of that cherished childhood memory that you had. And I was constantly attracted to them. Like you said, they had great covers and stuff like that, and graphics to really
look
grab
at that.
the eye.
That is 100% 90s right there.
Well, plus it just, for me, like, that embodies Halloween. The colors, the font, the images, everything. It's perfect.
Did you ever
take a picture of that to put in the Facebook photos?
I will. Did you ever hear Peter and the Werewolf? Have you ever heard
I
that
never
story?
heard that one specifically, no. But don't you dare open it.
No, I'm not going to open it. It is online. We should do another episode sometime and listen to this story and kind of, have our reactions to it.
Sounds excellent.
It's a fun story. But for those of you who are like, I don't know what they're seeing, yada yada, we do record these on video, and pretty soon you're going to have your chance to actually see them if you go to the Patreon, which we're still working all of that on. But for Patreon subscribers, we will have these videos up there so you can actually see us, and you can see all of the crazy stuff that I show Megan all the time that you don't normally see. Yes.
Well,
all right, Megan.
And you'll see what we look like after 3 hours of sleep. Storms and everything else.
I know, and storms.
Oh dear.
It was rough. It was rough. But Megan, go ahead. Tell us about the history of some of these Halloween spooky sounds.
All right. So I think first off, just as a little bit of background, what we're talking about here is not Halloween music. That's a whole other show. We're talking about just the sound effects. So the tapes, the albums tapes when I first bought them, but the albums, we'll call them, that featured things like thunder, rainstorms, whistling wind, rattling chains, crunching leaves, screams, sort of
werewolf
heavy breathing.
Howls, you name it.
Yes, bubbling sort of sounds like a laboratory. All those sorts of things, shrieking cats. And, you know, as time went on, they started to feature other types of sounds too, chainsaws. You remember the like plasma lamp, static electricity bulbs? You'd hear that kind of sound in them.
Mad scientist.
Anyway, that's what we're talking about, the actual sound effects. So not music, sound effects. But I just think they're timeless. And some of the old albums are just as popular now as they ever were. And for people who grew up with them, as you say, you can find a lot of them online now on YouTube. And it's just fantastic to get to sit and re-listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
But so let's see. Just to put this into perspective, how popular they are, okay? They're only outstripped by Christmas album sales most years.
Wow.
Not every year, but most years. Still to this day. And there's a professional media composer who has created a bunch of Halloween albums. His name's Lee Haggerwood. He's British. And he said that he produced Halloween horror, scary sounds and music. And it sold over 50,000 copies in 1 week back in 2009. Wow. And it was higher in the charts than Thriller on iTunes at one point. So that's just how important these are to people's Halloween seasons. But of course, they came from somewhere. I always associated them with the 80s and 90s, but that's because that's when I grew up. But in digging into the history of it, it goes back far, far further. So let's see. The history of modern sound effects actually traces back to all the live radio plays and dramas that used to be on the radio in 1920s. So basically, in those scenarios, sound effect creators would literally stand in the studio live, breaking light bulbs, clapping wooden boards together, wiggling the saw or pieces of sheet metal. And it would make sounds that were, suggestive of breaking windows, slamming doors, growling thunder. By the 1930s, 1931 in particular is considered a watershed year for the entire sound effects industry because the BBC officially defined sound effects for the first time. And they defined it as everything that comes out of a loudspeaker except what is usually classed as music or speech. And CBS that same year got America's first full-time sound effects department, which is widely recognized as being the driving force behind the development of the industry as a whole worldwide after that point. So again, we're talking about people would tune into the radio. They would have some kind of a story on the radio, might be a thriller or a detective story closer to Halloween or around wintertime. It might be, they wouldn't have had horror stories like we would know them today because that would have been not allowed for public consumption. But you might have something that was along the more thriller line of things rather than horror.
Yeah.
Then we move into the 1950s, and vinyl records allowed people to bring those sound effects home for the first time. So, of course, some of those would have been Halloween records. And following in the tradition of radio plays and things like that, most of them included narration of some kind because it's what people were used to and what they expected. So they would have spooky little stories or maybe Halloween-themed songs included as well as the sound effects or layered over the sound effects.
Right.
Spike Jones in Stereo, a spooktacular and screaming sound, was released in 1959. It was one of the most popular 1950s Halloween-themed albums. It was released by Warner Brothers Records, and it's sort of a comedy album, so it lampoons horror themes and takes advantage of what was then the new stereo technology and featured some, notable voice talents, including Paul Frees and Vampira, again, deserves her own episode. Gloucester, Massachusetts native, by the way. I always like to get that in there when Vampire is mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were sort of utilizing famous faces of the day to make the album sell bigger, and it was hugely popular in the 1950s. It was often referred to as Spike Jones in hi-fi, or simply a spooktacular and screaming sound. And again, that was 1959. Spike Jones released it. So 1960s, we were almost in the 60s then anyway. But by 1960, the first major commercial record to feature only spooky sound effects with some narrated vignettes was Disney's chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house. It was released in 1964 by Disneyland Records. So again, prior to that, they were primarily story albums, and the sound effects were secondary. They were just part of telling the story. Disney was the first one to just kind of have little vignettes that introduced the sound effects and then let the sound effects take over and do their job. While earlier novelty records existed, Disney's LP is credited with creating the standard to this day, like the standard formula for what Halloween sound effect albums are. So it was re-released again. It was so popular, it was re-released again in 1973 with an orange cover. So if you're looking online, if you're a collector of vinyl records, this seems to be the one that most people find readily at sort of yard sales and things like that. It has a black and orange cover. Is the 1973 version, but it is considered a true classic in the sense that it's still popular in subsequent decades, and it reappeared in later formats all the way through the 90s. So Disney didn't just kind of take it and move on. They continued to reinvent it throughout the years. Yeah. So one side, for anyone who's not familiar with vinyl records, sounds crazy to say that, but some people aren't. One side would always have, the main album on it, and then there would be a B-side to the record, okay? So the first side featured short narrated spooky stories by Laura Alsher that set the scene for all the sound effects. And then the B-side was just sound effects. There was no narration, no anything. So it was all the sound effects from the first side, all on their own. So things like howling winds, creaking doors, shattering glass, moaning ghosts, screaming victims. So contrary to sort of a pure ghost theme, it also included some other interesting sounds. So it had what was the sound of a spaceship landing, a Chinese water torture segment. Yeah. They had some iconic tracks that people still sort of go back to this day. One's called The Very Long Fuse. And again, the Chinese water torture one is one that's sort of endured mostly because it was sampled by a couple hip hop groups. So NWA and Ice Cube both sampled the Chinese water torture segment for their music. Yeah. But yeah, so of course the original creators would have been the Walt Disney Studios sound effects department. So these were all people, again, wiggling saws and doing active physical things that created these sounds from scratch. Yeah. And they're just this album's considered an absolute vinyl treasure for any Disney or Halloween collector. Also, during the 60s, Disney kept them coming, so they released an LP called The Story and Song from the Haunted Mansion. For anyone who's not familiar, the Haunted Mansion is one of Disneyland and then Walt Disney World's longest-running attractions. The Haunted Mansion, it spawned films, but this was sort of the original thing that it spawned was a LP album called The Story and Song from the Haunted Mansion. It features an often stereo remastered audio drama of teenagers named Mike and Karen who have become trapped in the mansion. And it's narrated by the ghost host. Mm-hmm. So if you're familiar with the ride at all, as you first enter into the sort of line where you go over and back for an hour or more waiting to actually get on the ride. Yeah. You hear sort of a loop of discussion from the ghost host who says, "Welcome to the Haunted Mansion." Mm-hmm. And it includes iconic ride audio, vocals, and music from the Disneyland attraction. So those both came out in the 60s. So really Disney kind of launched it properly in terms of sound effect albums.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard that one before. I've heard that one
I think everyone has at some point or other. Yeah, because again, similarly to the first one, they kept reinventing it and re-releasing it. And they haven't, I haven't been in recent years since they started releasing movies and things, but for the longest time, the ride never really changed at all. It was just the same. Because it didn't need to. It was perfect. It was classic, just the way it was. And the albums were the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Paul Frees who did the voice of the for the Haunted Mansion, Mr. Paul Frees.
Yes, it was.
Who he's done other stuff too that off for the top of my head I can't think of what else. I'm sure he did. I'm pretty sure he was. I think he was Boris from Rocky and Bullwinkle. He played Boris.
Was he?
Yeah, Paul Frees.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Today I learned.
Yeah. He did a couple of other things too that I know very well, but for whatever reason I can't think of what else they are. It might have been that he was the voice of the Haunted Mansion. That's probably what I'm thinking of. That's how I know him, but there has to be something else. There has to be.
It's a very iconic voice, and he was perfect for that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we roll into the 80s and 90s, again, which is the period that I always think of these albums coming out. And part of the reason for that is technology. So, of course, if you were listening to the radio plays back in the 20s and 30s, you had to be at your house or, sitting somewhere physically. You couldn't kind of take it with you. Vinyl albums allowed you to bring it into your home or to a friend's house, but you couldn't really walk around with an album, if you know what I mean. So by the time the 80s and 90s came, you had these really, really handy portable tapes, and things like Walkmans came out.
Yeah, the portable players.
Had a boombox, and
yeah.
So it just became easier to access these things and to share them. So I think that really contributed as well to their flourishing during that period more than in periods before that.
Yeah.
So in the 80s and 90s, again, the iconic album Chilling, Thrilling Sounds of the Haunted House came out. It was frequently re-released, found on cassette tapes throughout the 80s and 90s. During this period, Disney brought back pretty much all the albums that they had previously created from the 60s in various different formats. However, where the originals featured narration over the spooky sound effects, many of the later cassette versions and then later CD compilations, such as Halloween Songs and Sounds, focused on the audio-only tracks. So again, the vignettes were completely taken out.
Yeah.
So there was no longer any kind of narration. It was basically it was the B-side of the original vinyl record, where it was just the sound effects.
Yeah.
In 1998, a more themed album, again related to the Haunted Mansion, it was called A Spooky Night in Disney's Haunted Mansion, was re-released on cassette, and again featuring the ghost host from the popular theme park ride. So yeah, Disney really brought all of this out before anybody else, and they really sort of captured the audience with regard to all these things, and everybody who came after it was sort of building on that success.
Right.
And it was great because, like I said, now everybody's got tapes available. I don't know about you if you've ever recorded anything off the radio with the tape, but you could, if you had a boombox that had two cassette things, you could record from one to the other. So you could sort of hand it around. But yeah, so again, organ music, wailing ghosts, screaming victims, crunching leaves, all of these different things. The cassette version of the Disney sound effects one actually comes with the storybook booklet, which we were talking about that the other week, how things used to come with the lyrics in the notes inside the cover. This had like a storybook booklet with little artwork and things like that came with it. I would love to find a copy of that with that insert still in it.
Yeah.
Because I would love to.
Yeah, and this is
But
one
yeah,
of the
so
main.
the
This is one of the main reasons why I go to thrift stores, to just look. And there, every time I see a huge pile of records, of course I look through the records just to see if there's anything Halloween related or McDonald's related that's in there. And every now and then I'll find some cool stuff just floating around. And but of course, like places like Goodwill, they know that Halloween is a very beloved holiday,
Mhm.
that all of the records will be $1. You get to a Halloween one, $10. And I'm like, oh, come on,
Yes.
Goodwill. Come on.
Especially nearer the holiday, the price seems to go up the closer to the holiday you get.
Yeah. They
Or
just
you'll
know.
go,
They know.
they're taking advantage of our love.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of smart
This
and
is why
they're
you bought a pawn shop, isn't it? You're just sitting there waiting for someone to bring something Halloween themed through your door. You're
you
like,
wouldn't
come to
believe
me.
you wouldn't believe how much stuff I get through the store. Not necessarily Halloween related, but I some lady came in the other day. She had they were like dolls, but they were like living dead dolls. I don't know if
Oh
anybody
wow. I think
knows
I've
those.
seen some of those.
She was
I
like, yeah,
think they're really creepy.
they
They're
are
very realistic.
they were pretty weird. She had the porcelain one. She just wanted a huge amount of money, and I'm like, if I can buy them cheaper on eBay right now and have them delivered, like, why would I pay more for them for your collection? So I ended up not
Yes, yeah,
getting it,
yeah.
but people come in with that type of stuff all the time. I get a lot of trading cards in, things like that. A lot of the times, I'll just buy huge collections of just randomness just to look through them and see what I can find. But it's fun because you honestly, I don't know if you guys ever seen Pawn Stars, but Rick always used to say that you never know what's going to come into the store. That's 100% correct. I can be sitting here and who knows what somebody's just going to bring in. It's crazy.
We need to do an episode of Halloween themed things that people brought into the pawn shop.
It would be a very short episode. It'd be very short.
Ah, dear. Well, you found some cool stuff though in your new hardware store, though, didn't you?
I did. I don't know where
We
they
gotta do
are.
an episode on that.
Yeah, I don't know where they are, but yeah, this place, like, it's been open since the 90s, and the person, like, they hoarded a lot of stuff, so
Mm.
we just be moving boxes, and then we see a bunch of like new old stock from like some conditioner that was out in the 90s, and it expired like in
goodness.
1990, and you're like, man, this is old, and it's still brand new, still in boxes.
Makes your hair fall out.
Yeah. My wife threw them all away, and I saw them in the back of the truck that they were going to get taken to the dump. I grabbed one of the boxes and I put it inside the truck. Yeah, it's in her truck right now, of the box that I saved of this like really old conditioner from the 90s. But I looked
But
at the
there was
bottle.
some specifically Halloween stuff, though, wasn't there?
There was some Halloween. I think there were like postcards or something.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened to them. I really don't. They're floating around somewhere.
Gotta dig those out.
There was a lot of Christmas stuff in there too, like old vintage Christmas stuff, cookie cutters.
Oh,
I found like those old light bulbs to replace the Christmas bulbs. They're like really miniature.
oh, the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're
C7 ones, you mean? Like the big ones?
they were big, and they were like light bulbs that you would unscrew the other one and then screw the new one in when they were out. It's not like the ones where you would plug them in. These actually screwed in, and my son found them just they were out for sale. They were just on a counter somewhere, and they were just there.
Oh my
And my
goodness.
son's like, "Hey, look at these, Dad!" And I was like, "Whoa, those are so cool!" There was like 5 of them. They're different colors. They had greens, reds, all that stuff. But
That's
yeah,
so cool.
I mean, it's crazy the stuff that's in there. And we haven't even scratched the surface. There's so much more stuff in there. Yeah.
So jealous.
The person,
I gotta go buy me a hardware store.
the lady that the wife of the guy who owned it, she used to do like porcelain dolls and stuff. She was a doll maker. So there's a bunch of like doll pieces, eyes, heads.
That's not creepy.
Just floating around. And there's a whole cabinet of them. And behind that cabinet is something else that we're trying to get to see kind of what it is. But we can't because there's just so much doll pieces inside these cabinets. So yeah, and it gets to the point where we're just like, yeah, I don't want to have to go through this anymore. I'm done.
Yeah,
There's just so
I'm
much
done
stuff.
for the day.
There's just so much stuff. so much.
Oh, so let's see. 90s. Oh, such a good period. Can we go back to the 90s, please? If anyone invents a time machine,
Yes.
I volunteer.
Well, the cool thing is we can't go back, but at least we can relive the stuff
Yes.
that we had. Because we have stuff like YouTube now. We have
Yes.
stuff like what we're doing now. We're basically just sitting here sharing moments of our time together, and we're reliving those right now, in a sense.
Yes.
People listening to it, they'll probably hear something from in a little bit, and they'll be like, whoa, I totally forgot about that. And then it brings them back to that magical period. So just because we can't go back doesn't mean we can't relive a lot of this stuff. And back in the 90s, when we didn't really have this, the only way you can really relive things from the past was if somebody released something on a VHS tape, and then you can rewatch it. That was the only other way. Or the records, of course, just finding the records, finding it on analog. But the thing that scares me now is that a lot of this stuff is not here. It's not physical. It's not analog. It's digital. And who knows if at one point somebody flips the switch. Goodbye Halloween podcast. Goodbye YouTube.
Poof, gone. Never happened.
And it is goodbye Facebook. All of those things that we hold on to as treasure is all just gone. And then what do we have again? Nothing but our memories. That's all we have.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's scary to think about, but yeah, just leave it to me to bring everything down, guys. Leave it to me to bring it down.
No, but it's a valid point though, because it shows the value of memories.
The value of things like this.
Making memories.
I have it in my hand.
I'm so jealous.
I have it in my hand. Like this is why I found this at a thrift store, just so you know. And it was sitting there. And I was like, cool. That's how I ended up with that. I don't know if you can see it, but that wall over there, next to the door, there's like other old Halloween stuff from like the 90s and the 80s of just, I think there's a trash bag. I got my Ghoul-Aid up there. These flying pumpkins is down there. Like, there's an activity set up there that I'm pretty sure I think it has a tape. Let me go look.
I don't remember Ghoul-Aid, but I do remember Ecto Cooler. Ecto Cooler was the sort of drink of choice for me as a little kid. I just thought it was great. And Slimer was awesome. Do you remember Ecto Cooler?
I do. I have an Ecto Cooler bottle. It's not here, but I have one somewhere. Not open.
Awesome.
There's a tape. See?
So cool. Oh my goodness.
It's in there. You can kind of hear.
And where did you find that?
This
at a thrift shop? Or?
I found this at a thrift store at a place called Hunt's. But luckily I paid $3 for it.
That's amazing.
And it has a cassette tape in it. Spooky Sounds, and it's not open. It is still like it's sealed. It is 100% sealed. And this is the type of stuff. Just putting it out
there. If anybody has any cool Halloween thrift finds, please, please, please send photos.
Yeah, let us know, because I mean,
we want to see.
I would love to see this stuff. But this is cool. It's got like a lot of like activities, and
that's so cool.
It's just amazing the stuff that you find. Well, it's amazing the stuff that I buy, really.
And it's sad because I'm like a woman in my 40-somethings, and I'm sitting there looking at all that stuff, getting giddy inside because it just brings back all my childhood memories, because it looks exactly like everything that you used to be able to get in the 80s and 90s.
Yes, because it is exactly what you were able to get. It literally is. It literally is.
Yeah.
And maybe perfect. I should do a video of just like opening this and looking at it. And
well, it would be kind of cool.
It would.
And what's it going to do if you just leave it in there? Let's face it, you're never going to sell it.
No. This is going to be.
So you may as well enjoy it.
This is going to be like stuff that my kids are going to look through when I die, and they're trying to settle my estate. They're going to be like, "What the heck was my dad doing?"
Like, we need another dumpster.
No, sure enough, my kids will be like, "Yeah, let's sell all of this stuff. It's probably worth millions." And sure enough, somebody
Except
will probably.
That all the people who it was nostalgic for are now gone.
Yeah, that's another sad realization, is that eventually all of this stuff will not be it won't be enjoyed by anybody anymore that enjoyed it.
They say you have a window, don't they, where you kind of catch people in their 30s and 40s, and that's when you try to sell it back to them, because that's when they start to wax nostalgic.
Yeah. That's why sports cards right now are such a huge deal, is because the older generation is starting to get older, starting to get to the retirement age, and they need something to do. And then here we go, sports cards.
They have all this money, and they're just like, let's rebuy the things that I had in my childhood.
Yeah, and Pokemon too. I mean, that thing is through the roof. I'm amazed at how big Pokemon is right now. And that, again, something from the 90s. And there it is.
I'm told Pogs are coming back. Do you remember Pogs?
I think. Let me look behind me. I might have some Pogs somewhere.
But I'm told Pogs are coming back with the current generation.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Marbles to come back too.
All right, so tell me if you remember any of these. Okay?
All right.
So these were some of the other sort of key 1990s, 80s, 90s releases for spooky sounds. So Hallmark spooky sounds. Yeah. They were, like, the Hallmark ones were a staple in our house.
Yeah.
So they're considered perhaps the most famous. Tape is packed with sort of all the different stereotypical shrieks, creaks, ghostly noises. People used to put it on their porch in the boombox.
Yeah.
Like when trick-or-treaters were coming. Do you remember that? And someone would go, quick, run out and change the tape over. Because it didn't just keep playing on loop like it does now. You'd have to run over and turn the tape over to the second side to keep it going.
Right.
So Walt Disney Records, Halloween Songs and Sounds. I was just mentioning that one.
Yeah.
And it features characters like Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh. Haunted Hits by Rhino Records came out in 96. And again, it was spooky novelty songs mixed with sound effects. It was more like for Halloween parties. Goosebumps, Sound of Halloween. It was related to the horror books, of course.
Yeah.
And it just featured spooky sounds inspired by different books in that series. I loved the Goosebumps books.
Oh, so did I. We should really do. I don't think I've ever done an episode on the actual Goosebumps. I think I've done some on the show.
We're doing it.
I've done some.
It's happening, folks. It's happening.
I don't know. I think I'm close to 300 episodes of the Halloween podcast throughout the whole run, and I just can't remember all the episodes I've done. There's just been so many, but I think we might have done Goosebumps. If not, we did shows. I know for a fact I had guests on, and we watched some.
I'm pretty sure I heard you do an episode about the films with Jack Black. Or it was mentioned on an episode.
Maybe. Gosh, I don't remember. I really don't.
But we need to do the books. In fact, I was cleaning out my collection recently, and my mom was cleaning out the basement in her house and came across a bunch of my old Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
And I still have my original Goosebumps books.
Nice.
I never threw them out. I still have them.
Nice.
So, but I did not have the Goosebumps Sounds of Halloween album, so I'm going to have to hunt that down somewhere.
Yeah.
See if I can listen to it on YouTube or something like that.
That would be a great find.
Oh, yes, it would. We can play it in the background while we talk about the Goosebumps books.
That would be great. That would be good. That definitely
Fun World Thriller Chiller. So it was a 45-minute tape designed specifically for haunted houses. So, the things that you walk through and people jump out at you.
Yeah, I think
it featured high-intensity, scary horror sounds of monsters, ghouls, and goblins.
I think I played that one, or I did a review on it on the Halloween podcast. That one.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost positive.
Now, this next one's dear to my heart because I had this one, and pretty much everyone I know had this one. Not that they still have it, but the McDonald's Halloween tape. Do you remember that when they gave it out with the Happy Meals?
I did a lot of episodes on that.
I love it.
I did.
And it's like Ronald McDonald and Grimace singing like quote unquote spooky songs. They're not really that spooky. No. And I think, if I remember, I did listen to your episode and you were saying a lot of the songs were actually recycled. Like they'd used them in previous McDonald's things and then just sort of recycled them onto the Halloween album.
Yeah.
But it's just so nostalgic.
Hold on.
It was not the best album by far. But it was definitely one that you listen to and you're like, oh yeah, that's my childhood. It's right up there with McNugget Buddies and the Halloween Pails for me.
You guys are just going to have to,
nostalgia.
I'm going to have to release this video. Because look, there's the one right there.
Oh, no way. I don't have mine still. I wish
silly songs.
Oh, no way.
Here's the Ronald McDonald one. This was one of the original ones before they did the Halloween ones. Here's Ronald Makes It Magic, Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot I had this here. Like when you said the McDonald's, here's the actual one that looks Halloween-y.
Oh my goodness.
These, and I forgot that I brought this when I built this new studio, but check that out.
No way.
And this one.
Oh, Lyle.
And this one, like this whole box right here is full of Halloween tapes. Like, I
am so glad that I mentioned them and started naming these off.
And the Halloween sounds. Here's one from Hallmark.
I had that one, the one that you just held up there.
Yeah, the Hallmark one.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, and then I have like actual CDs. There's one.
Yeah, I had a bunch of the CDs too. Basically, as soon as things switched over from cassettes to CDs, I started, like, our family started getting them in CDs. And the last one on my list was Spooky Tales and Scary Sounds, which I think was the one that you just showed there.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
It was a staple of my childhood.
Kids' Spooky Songs and Stories? No? Halloween
yeah, I think that is the one.
I don't know. There's one.
That one right there.
Yeah, that's Halloween Sounds.
It's got the wolf on it, right?
Yeah. This one was Hallmark. Yep. Done from Hallmark.
I remember that one very well.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm such a nerd. I am. And then
but this is why we appreciate you, Lyle.
Here's one that's still sealed.
Scary no Stories. Way. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, like, most of these are available if you actually search. I did a quick search when I was looking through all this just to see, because I know you can buy them on eBay and all those kinds of places, but I just wanted to see what was available on Amazon. There were like 7,000 different listings for when I typed in Halloween Sounds albums.
Yeah.
Was specifically what and a lot of them obviously were used. But a lot of them were new too. So people are still producing physical albums that you can buy, or they were back when they made CDs properly.
Yeah. That's fun.
So anyway, we're moving then into today, speaking of Amazon. So an explosion in Spooky Sounds albums basically came, again, because of technology.
Right.
Things became more popular because you had the tape and then the CD, and you could listen to them in your Walkman or your boombox, take them with you. But as things progressed, of course, we ended up with people being able to make them more easily as well.
Yeah.
Instead of, just from the production perspective, instead of only the consumer perspective. So the availability of things like cheap recording devices, easy access to self-selling in online stores, such as iTunes and things like that, and streaming services, just led to a huge influx in albums in just the past 8 years or so.
Yeah.
So there's the gentleman who I mentioned at the start, Lee Hagerwood, released Halloween Horror in 2008, and it was only one of a handful of horror albums available at the time. But since then, it's just gone through the roof. But in terms of how they're made, they're still pretty much made the same way that they were back when they were doing the radio dramas in the 1920s, if we're talking about really high quality original albums.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's also a whole industry of kind of homemade knockoff type stuff. But if we're actually talking about professionals making albums, they're still doing the effects from scratch. So a lot of professional artists will spend a lot of time recording themselves or friends or a paid actor. Heavy breathing, maniacal laughter, moaning, screaming and crying, rattling chains. It walk around following dogs or trying to follow crows or whatever to get just the right authentic sound.
Yeah.
Walking over and back on creaky floors, dragging chains across the floor, all that stuff. But in terms of the sort of cottage industry, people are sampling things that other people have created from scratch online or from films, things like that. And they're making them digitally now. The biggest difference in the ones that we would have grown up with and the ones that are being released now is the depth of sound. So there's a much greater depth of sound that's available for people who are creating them. Things like making things louder used to be done by getting closer or further away from the thing making the noise when you were sampling it. But now it doesn't matter. You can just, use mixers and things like that to turn the volume up, down, layer things, sample any kind of sound, and basically create any effect that you want. So for those with less time and a tighter budget, again, there's a cottage industry of people, taking sound samples drawn from all over the internet and just mixed to whatever their personal preferences or to their own purpose and being released on streaming services.
Yeah.
So like a non-professional grade of spooky sounds albums. But again, it just goes to show how much these albums meant to people that they want to try and make them on their own as well.
Right.
And the professionals are now moving into creating sounds for Halloween apps. And they're actually moving into the next thing I want to talk about, which is where I think the future of all this is going, which is soundscapes. So it's not just enough anymore to be able to listen to it as you're going somewhere or to listen to it in the background at a Halloween party.
Right.
People want to sort of the fully immersive experience. So soundscapes are now replacing spooky sounds albums. So there are several YouTube channels and creators that specifically specialize in Halloween videoscapes, Halloween ambience, featuring jack-o'-lanterns, spooky nights, fall themes as an actual video that's played in the background on a loop while you're listening to the different sound effects relevant to the video. And an absolute favorite of mine, and I'm hoping other people are going to hear me say this and go, oh yeah, but a favorite of mine is the Ghoul Log, which is a play on the Yule log. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, the looped burning log video that plays on a lot of public television networks over Christmas, and it has its own website and stuff now. Well, it's called the Ghoul Log, and it's become an annual Halloween tradition. It started with one called Samo Lantern, which is based on the feel of the 2007 horror film anthology Trick or Treat, which features a character named Sam. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Lyle.
No.
Very spooky, very cool. Anna Paquin's in it. It's really neat. You would enjoy it. So the vibe is very Trick or Treat. It's a 24/7 streaming or looping video created by the film's director, Michael Dougherty. It was on Shudder. That was the first place that I found it, which is a streaming service for horror movie lovers. And they also had a bunch of these horror soundscapes or like Halloween soundscapes, and just absolutely amazing. So that sort of made my 2020 Halloween bearable, because in Ireland we were still in lockdown at that point. They were lifting it, and then just ahead of Halloween they locked it all down again. So my husband and I had this big costume contest and everything planned with our business there with local kids and whatnot. And instead of it being this big group event, after lockdown had been relaxed, it ended up being all the kids walking by at timed intervals along the street. Like one would have, 9 p.m. and one would have 7 p.m. And we would stand at the doorway and watch them walk up the street. And we would leave their little treat bag at the edge of the driveway so that they could sort of scoop it up as they walked past the house. It was a crazy year. But yeah, so Samo Lantern Ghoul Log made it so much more bearable, because of course it brought the real Halloween feels, and it made you feel like somewhere someone was trick-or-treating as normal. And it also brought back sort of the New England fall feels for me as well, because it has a very fall sort of background to it and everything.
Right.
I'm a fall fanatic, for anyone who hasn't figured that out yet.
Yes, we
It's
kind of
all
knew
about
that.
Halloween, but it's all about fall.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's still on Shudder. You can probably find it a few other places, but I feel like in 2020, and I might be misremembering this, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it was on Prime as well.
It is. I'm
Because
looking at it
I
right
have
now.
this memory of like seeing it on the television that year and playing it in the background, and Prime would have been the only streaming service that I had at that time, in addition to Shudder, but Shudder was only on my phone.
Yeah.
And of course, because they keep bringing it, in 2025, Disney released a brand new Haunted Mansion themed soundscape. So it's 3 hours long, and it's on the official Disney Parks YouTube channel. And of course, because it's Disney, they don't call it a soundscape. They call it an immersive audio experience. But I'm told it's absolutely amazing. And I didn't get to check it out before this, but we'll definitely put it in the links. And I'm going to check it out for sure after this.
Yeah.
Other ones of note are The Calming Cauldron, Halloween Haunted House on YouTube, and Lanterns and Haunted House Sounds on YouTube, which is kind of a ASMR sort of themed thing. Shudder had a lot of those too, the kind of Halloween themed or horror themed ASMR quote unquote relaxation tracks. I was like, ooh, I don't know. I don't find any of these relaxing. And I don't know if I would love to meet or would be terrified to meet the person who found them relaxing. Probably a bit of both.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh,
so,
man.
Are you familiar with Sam O'Lantern, or have you ever seen? You said you hadn't seen the anthology, but
I have not.
You seen the soundscape?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen any of it, unfortunately.
You have to check it out because they're very. They know who their audience is, so they've obviously done their research and they know that the demographic they're looking at is 30 to 40-year-old women. Apparently.
Yeah, well, I don't think
that
that's
is
me.
a fact. No. But you're in the 30-40 age bracket, so you're that perfect, nostalgia sweet spot for these kinds of videos, because they really do bring back all the feels of a 80s, 90s Halloween and the trick-or-treating and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So a couple quick facts here. Again, 30s and 40s women are the people who listen to the most Halloween-themed music, including, help me out here, 3 hours of sleep, including spooky sounds. Apparently, Utah is the state where most streaming activity of Halloween music is. I don't know what that says about things, but there you go. But yeah, so there's a few little bits and pieces for you in terms of factoids.
Nice. Perfect. Well, I mean, yeah.
I want to listen to some.
You want to listen to some? Well, I got a couple of samples of some Halloween tapes that we're going to take a listen to. I got a little bit of tidbits about each one. But before we get to that, I want to play this video, this sound. I'm not sure if Megan has heard this sound or if any of you guys have heard this sound. But if you have, you'll remember it and you will love it. But here it is. Right. Let me see.
Yay!
That is the ultimate 90s Halloween sound.
Yes.
Right there.
And even if people were blindfolded and you played that, if they were a kid in the 90s, they would know exactly what that was. It might be a witch or it might be a ghost.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing about it. It filled in for every possible creature sound.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Yeah. That is 100% the 90s noise.
The sound of 90s Halloween.
I remember walking down trick-or-treating. People would be turning on their decorations with this noise as I'm walking up to a house, about ready to go trick-or-treating. And sure enough, that noise I got to hear it one more time.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. We're not just listening to it. There's a video of the ghost that's actually making the
When you
noise.
release this on Patreon, people will presumably be able to see that in addition to.
But yeah, man, I remember.
Is that the box in the background? Like the actual box that it came in?
I think it
looks
is.
like it.
Yeah, that's the actual.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it's just a video of somebody that had one that just set it up, turned it on, and recorded it. And here I am. Well, here we are, on over this stupid toy from our childhood.
And essentially, like, there was nothing to them, right? I mean, it was just a ball that made the sound, and like the world's cheapest plasticky bit of fabric with a really cheesy face drawn on it, and we loved them.
Yeah, but that noise.
And people bought them in the thousands, you know?
Yeah.
They flew off the shelves. Everybody had to have one.
Sure they did, but we're looking at the ghost one right now, but that noise was in a lot of other stuff. I think it was in a witch.
I had a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a witch one growing up that was in our house.
Yeah, and it was the same noise. I tried to do some research to try to figure out how that noise came about, how that sound. I couldn't really find much on it. The closest thing I could find was that it's believed that was sampled from other like old time radio things. It was just higher pitched. That's kind of what made it that like really weird vibrato noise. But it was very popular in the 90s. And I remember rediscovering it a few years ago that somebody uploaded a video and I was like, oh, wow, I remember that noise.
Yep.
And
I think I saw one that was shaped like a UFO once too, which in my head makes more sense.
Yes, it does.
It sounds like the type of thing that in old films and whatnot would be in a UFO.
Yeah.
Or something alien related.
Right.
But as a kid, I loved it just as much in the witch that we had, or these little ghosts that everyone seemed to have on their front porch.
Yeah. Hopefully that was
Walmart
good.
re-released one.
Really?
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I think it was this past Halloween or the year before, and I think Lowe's, correct me if I'm wrong, might have had something similar, because I almost bought it. It was available online. Like, you could buy it through whichever website it was, and it was slightly fancier than this, but it was that exact noise and the little, like, it lights up kind of thing when it jiggles.
Yeah. As cool as that is, I have to have the original. I can't do the...
Yeah.
It would have to be like the one in this video with that terrible looking box in the back. I mean, that would look good up there on my shelf. I was one of those
kids. Like, someone somewhere, I think it must have been my mom's dad, my grandfather, because we lived with my mom's parents, multi-family household, or multi-generational household. And someone told me along the lines that if I saved things and didn't take them out of their box, they would be worth a lot of money someday. So I have boxes and boxes. My mom just did a huge heave-ho in the basement, so I'm going to have to start going through my stuff too. But I have all kinds of things, from like Barbies to Jurassic Park toys, to, like, all kinds of stuff still in their original boxes, like American Girl dolls, all kinds of stuff that I never got to enjoy or play with. And it's really silly. Like, when you think about it, I should have just played with them and enjoyed them as a kid.
Yeah.
But what I would sometimes do, if I was allowed, which was not a regular occurrence, but if I was allowed, or certainly as I got older and started making my own money, I would like buy one to save.
Yeah.
To, in theory, sell someday, and then one to enjoy.
Yeah.
So, and I never did that with any of those sorts of things. Pretty much all my Halloween stuff, for whatever reason, got played with.
Yeah.
So I found a cool, like, a box of all my old Halloween toys and stuff. So I'll have to dig that out at some point and be like, look what I found.
Perfect. All right. Next, we're going to move into a Halloween Spooky Sounds cassette tape. Yes. We're going to listen to the Chamber of Horrors. And this one is not I don't believe this is the original one. This is one of those, I call them knockoffs, because they were kind of like everywhere. A lot of them had Chamber of Horrors on them. This one's a more of a later release. But here we go. This is what it sounded like. Chamber of Horrors. This is from a company called Tony USA Inc., which this company has probably been long defunct, no longer in business. And the crazy thing is that they're from Encinitas, California, which is right up the road from where I lived.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. I lived in Vista, California, and this is Encinitas, right up the road. I say right up the road.
You can feel that this was very influenced by horror films.
Yeah.
Of the period, as opposed to just like pure sound effects. Like it has that very
like this is more of a score.
1980s, 1990s horror film score. Yeah, feel to it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is if you were to put on Day of the Dead, this is like the score that's playing as the story's getting started. This is exactly what the score would feel like. And speaking of that, if you look at the picture, that looks like a zombie right on the cassette tape.
It definitely does, yeah.
So, but the cool thing is this was considered the newer version of Chamber of Horrors. They had an original one that was released in 1988. And this one, there isn't too much. Like, the thing with these cassette tapes is that there were little to no documentation for any of these things. These things were just like mass produced, showed up out of nowhere, and then they were gone. Like, I wasn't even able to find anything on this Tony USA Inc. Who is that? I don't know. I couldn't find anything on them. Of course, it's made in China, like everything was made in China back then.
Yeah.
And there was other Chamber of Horrors. Some of them contained different sounds, but they all shared kind of like a similar vibe to it. This one just kind of went more for the score. But stuff like this was never really made to survive. It was made to be used and then just like thrown out. Like it was like a one time during Halloween, and then what are you going to do? It's going to be middle of January, and you're going to be like, jingle bells, horror sounds, and like it just doesn't work. It's got to be during that time.
And that's why they release them every single year, right? Because you would just get the new one.
Yeah, you would just get the new one. I don't think you'd want to be known as the house that kept playing the same cassette tape every year. You wanted to spice it up a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, very faux pas.
Yeah.
There's something very Hellraiser about this soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the sort of synthesizer sound that goes with it.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've ever seen that one. That's the one with Pinhead.
Right. Yeah, I mean, these things were just they had such a mystery to them, even now. Because honestly, like, who made this? Who produced it? Like, who? I don't know. We don't know. It's just probably some random dude, probably Tony himself, was sitting in his basement with a bunch of samples from a lot of different stuff. Or maybe he sat there with a synthesizer and then just played it as it was rolling. And then he just added spooky effects, which is kind of what I did. If you listen to the opener of the Halloween podcast for the past, 8-10 years now, it's been that we've been doing it. That opener, I just created that from sitting at my desk with the recording software up. I laid the bed down of the noise, and then I just added the spooky sound effects in different spots, and then we ended up with the opener for the Halloween podcast. I'm pretty sure that's probably what a lot of these they just did. They just laid down the bed, and then they threw in samples, or they threw in sound effects at random times, and there you go. You got yourself a tape, a Halloween spooky sound tape. That's probably what they did. That's why they released so many of them.
I bet. I wonder if there was someone in the factory in China who had to quality check them, and they listened to them and like, these Americans are messed up. Like, what are they listening to over there?
Probably. All right. So that was the Chamber of Horrors. Let's get that out of here. All right. Next up.
And it should be said that this originally, like in terms of sales and popularity and things, it was largely a North American phenomenon to
Oh, yeah.
start with. Now that things have gone streaming and internet, it's way more popular, like globally. But
Yeah.
originally, when it was hard copy tapes and things, they were pretty much for the North American market.
Yeah, I never thought of that. If anybody, I mean, we do have a lot of listeners overseas. We got listeners in different countries. If you guys were a kid and actually saw these at a store, let us know. I am very interested to see if maybe you saw some of these in your hometown outside of the US and what store it was at. That's another thing I'm really interested in, because I know a lot of these things it was big at Kmart's, discount stores. We had a store here called Pick and Save where which was before it was Big Lots, and they had stuff like this. They had a lot of off the wall things that I remember getting all the time. Walgreens, I think, is the one that had the this one right here, and it was all like, this one was made from Fun World. They made a lot of this type of stuff. Fun World made this too, and they were big in the Halloween scene in the 90s. I think they still are. I think Fun World is actually still around.
Pharmacies were like a awesome sort of low-key place to go buy Halloween stuff in the 90s.
Yeah.
They still sort of are, like, but they had, well, not that you were shopping for this, Lyle, but they had all the cool, like, dangly earrings that glowed in the dark, and the pins that you would buy, and the things for your hair. And like little tiny toys and little decorations, like CVS, Walgreens, all of those places had all of those things.
Yeah.
That my little Halloween girl heart could desire at a price that my little Halloween girl heart could afford.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have this one right here. Spooky Sounds. 60 Minutes of the Creeps is what this one's called. This one has more of
turning my head here to see what the tracks are called.
We have track 1, ghoulish; 2, eerie; 3, creepy; side B, morbid; 2, haunting; 3, spooky. This one has more of that spooky sound. Let's forward it a little bit. All right, now we're in like a forest, maybe.
These were the ones the segments I always enjoyed most when I was a kid.
Yeah, that really slow sound is that's a noise that does kind of, it doesn't really scare me. I find it
disquieting.
I guess is when you slow something down and you get like if you have a record and then you just slow it down, that weird noise that comes out, or you play something backwards, like that's kind of what it sounds like they're doing right now.
Just to be clear, when I said my favorite segments as a kid, I meant the kind of spooky, outdoorsy, crunchy leavesy bit with the owls and stuff.
Yeah. This one's good. This one's a generic spooky title. It's just called Scary Sounds, and it's in stereo. I don't know if you see that. It's in stereo. It's not in mono. So stereo means 2 speakers are playing it at once. A lot of this stuff was all public domain noises. They were cheap to make, cheap to produce. A lot of these things were a couple $. Like the Peter and the Wolf one I have was originally $2. It says so right on the package.
Yes.
So they were, they were mass produced, cheap. Probably didn't have the best quality, which actually doesn't really sound that bad.
These are sort of the copycat albums that I was talking about, where they sort of built on the back of sound effects specialists who are making things from scratch.
Yeah.
For sort of higher quality things that sort of sampled from here and sampled from there, and were able to rapidly produce these one-off records.
Yeah.
And this is This is a perfect example of what you were talking about. It was just designed to be used for that one season and then probably tossed because it probably broke
Yeah.
halfway through the second or third play. Do you remember that? Oh, that was so disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
When your tape, the actual thread broke.
Yeah.
You were trying to like wind it back in with a pencil and you just pulled that little bit too hard or something.
Yeah, we used to put it in the pencil and then go like this with it, and then it would rewind itself. The good old days. But yeah, these things were not meant to be archived in any way. That's kind of why there is really no information. If there's somebody out there who's listening or knows somebody that worked on one of these tapes, I don't care what tape it was, if they were the masterminds behind any of these tapes, let us know. Let us get in contact with them, because I would love to pick their brain.
Oh yeah, we want to have a chat with you.
Yeah, it's probably going to be something along the lines of, yeah, I was in college and I got hired to do this spooky sounds thing, and this is how I did it. And then that would be the whole episode. But it would be a great episode, I would think. Let's forward this a little bit.
I want to speak to somebody who worked on one of the really big budget ones, like one of the Disney ones.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, we're about halfway in now, so probably on side B. That sounds more futuristic right there.
Yeah, that sort of aliens landing kind of thing.
Yeah. So these tracks were made to be like mysterious and kind of nostalgic, really.
I feel like a lot of the ones that I had or that I listened to when I was a kid had sort of a mad scientist Frankenstein-esque themed one somewhere on it, where you would get those electrical pops and snaps and things and the little bubbling sounds like a laboratory, followed by kind of the maniacal shrieks of the scientist and the moans of the monster.
Crazy
or whatever.
Laughers. And I got that heartbeat now. These things were great. All right, we got one more. Let me pull you away. All right, here's the last one that I have ready to go for us. I know. Here we go. Haunted House. The chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house. I believe this is the one that you mentioned.
Yes, this one I definitely am familiar with.
This one's a release from... It's hard to date these things, exactly when they were released, because like they did them every year. But this one was definitely from the mid-'80s, is when this cassette came out.
Yeah, it just says it was frequently re-released and found on cassette tapes throughout the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because the cover that I am familiar with was different from the one that's being shown here.
Yeah, you probably... I don't know if I can... I probably can't put it up. The maniacal laugh.
Yes. Sort of witchy laughter there.
Yeah. I think... The bubbling.
So this is obviously the witch with her cauldron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
I've seen that one before for sure.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. That's
the one.
That's the original one, I believe.
Again, much higher budget, and you can tell.
Yeah. I kind of like this one. I like this cover.
Oh, yeah, it's a great one. Like, this is the classic that kind of launched the whole industry, really.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite theme in, like, Halloween stuff is always jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkins.
Me too.
in all
Pumpkins are like my key Halloween image.
in about 95% of all the Halloween podcast logos, stickers that I've ever made, there's always a pumpkin in it. Always.
And although I'm more familiar with the other album cover that you just showed,
Yeah.
this album cover that's in the video you're showing me now is very, very much my go-to like Halloween color palette.
Yeah.
It has all the things. It has the pumpkin, it has the skull, it has the moon and the bats.
And the
I
bats.
think there's even a gravestone maybe in the lower left corner.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing's written on a gravestone. But yeah, to me that's just classic Halloween.
Yeah, it definitely is.
That sort of spooky tree thing with the moon and the bats, for whatever reason, pushes all the Halloween buttons for me.
Yeah.
Even as a little kid, one of the things I found when digging through my old Halloween stuff was a Hallmark store decoration of like a spooky Halloween tree, and you were meant to stick on different Halloween shaped things like little ghosts and bats and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just always gravitated and still do gravitate toward that idea of the haunted looking tree in my Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another one that kind of sounds like a score. Like there's something about to happen. Can you imagine being a little kid again, walking up to a house, hearing this playing with your little trick-or-treat bag, dressed up as Frankenstein's monster or something. With that strobe light going. The strobe light, and yeah.
There was always a strobe light in the fog machines.
Yeah.
If you went to a house that was really dedicated, some of them had the little fog machine with the strobe light right by the door.
Yeah.
And they were really noisy. Like now you buy fog machines and you wouldn't even know they were there. But you remember they used to make that psh sound when the fog spat out of them?
Yeah. Yeah, another thing I didn't really think about much until you said it was how portable things became in the 90s. Like, if you were to do a haunted house and you had like an old school record player that was stationary, because these things were big, like you would have to move it to like the outside and try to get speakers
and
to be
just
blowing
to be
it.
able to project it. Yeah.
And like at this time period, that's probably why they became so popular in like the 90s, because that was when things were starting to become really portable. And you could put it on a Walkman and connect the Walkman to some speakers outside and then just hit play.
Or a boombox and just bust it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing. That's how it evolved. So it evolved from like the setting of the home, listening to it on the radio, to the setting of the home, being able to have it in a vinyl record.
Yeah.
Which probably there are more of those vinyl records still around and available than some of the little Halloween cassette tapes. But yeah, and then as things just got smaller and more portable, it was easier. And now we're sort of seeing the final sort of culmination of that, where you can just stream stuff anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you've pulled this up here now and we're streaming it without having the actual album playing anywhere.
Yeah. And again, that's one of the things that scares me is, who knows, there might be a flip that gets switched and all of this is gone. It is gone.
I know.
So, all right, let's forward this a little bit. See what other, see if we can go further.
I could just sit here all day listening to this. That's so sad.
All right, there's some bells. Looks like a storm's rolling through. I can see it on the cameras. Perfect timing.
Wow.
For a nice storm to be rolling through.
Mother Nature's cooperating.
Yes. I just wish there was more information on these things. Because I want to know more. Same with the McDonald's tapes that you brought up. Like,
yes.
I want to know how that was done. Who were the kids that were on it? Because the Ronald that did it was Jack Depke. He's the Ronald that's on there. And
yes.
I would love to talk to him to interview him. I don't think he really does interviews. I think he's more or less retired. But the cool thing is he does still accept like mail-in requests for signatures and stuff. So
Cool.
I have sealed copies of these tapes somewhere in my studio somewhere that I think I had them ready to send off and hope that he would sign them and mail them back. But if I lose them, no big deal. I'll just buy other ones because they're relatively cheap on eBay still. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to display them, you know, things like that, signed by my childhood Ronald. Yeah. And
So this one's...
Go ahead.
No, carry on.
Well,
you were saying?
I did find the guy that kind of produced the tapes, or he was a part of it, but he wasn't really much help.
Oh.
He didn't really talk much about it. He basically just said, I think I might have mentioned this in
I thought it was I thought you did a really good episode on it, in fairness. So you got plenty of information from somewhere.
Yeah, there was just a little...
We'll link to that old episode
if I can find
in the comments and stuff on this one.
I did a few.
I'll find it.
Right.
I listened to it not that long ago.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, I mean, I want to be there. Like, that's the thing. I just wanted to be there. I still wanted to be one of those kids going, yeah, Ronald.
Yeah.
But no.
This one's not hard. This one's actually fairly easy to find information on it. Like, because it was produced, Chilling, Thrilling Sounds of the Haunted House was produced by Disney.
Yeah.
Like, we do know, like, the name of the actress who did the original voiceovers. So remember, this was the second release. This was the 1970s release.
Mm-hmm.
The original 1960s release had stories being told over it. And the actress that did those, she was a voice actress named Laura Olsher. She also did things like Mr. Magoo, and, like, you would know her voice. You would have heard her in a lot of different cartoons.
Yeah.
So she did sort of narration that set up the different scenes, so you kind of knew what you were listening to when you turned it on to the B-side, and it was just the spooky sounds.
Yeah.
But it says, let me see here. So it was designed, this is really cool, actually, and I did not have this in my original information. So the original 1964 release was put out to promote the upcoming Haunted Mansion attraction opening.
Nice.
So the Haunted Mansion attraction didn't exist yet. This was like a promotional item that they put out to try and promote the launch of the Haunted Mansion, which makes it so much cooler. Like, we used to live in Florida for a while when I was a little kid, and so we used to go to Disney, not tons, but we used to go now and then, and that was always my favorite ride and my favorite gift shop, because it was a chance to buy Halloween themed things no matter what time of year we happened to go.
Yeah.
Which back then, that was hard. Like, people forget that because we have the internet now.
Right.
And you can buy whatever you want, whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, that was always part of, I was just setting that with my husband the other day. For me, that was always part of my love in terms of holidays and seasons, was things were truly seasonal.
Yeah.
Like, you could not find these albums, I mean, unless it was at a yard sale or something, outside Halloween. Like, a store wouldn't have them. There was no internet to go buy one from. You might be able to check one out of a library, maybe.
Yeah.
But unless you owned it, you couldn't buy stuff. But I actually loved that. I loved that come September, and there was no big Halloween creep. Like, you were not finding Halloween stuff in the store in July. It was just not a thing. So come September, it was a treat, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was born in August, and I remember when I was a kid, stuff was not out for Halloween until close to October. And then as I got older, I started noticing that the Halloween season started sooner. Like, it was in September I started seeing Halloween stuff. And then it started creeping up to August, my birthday. Like, my birth month, I was able to start seeing Halloween stuff at, like, the Dollar Tree and things like that. And I was like, man, what's next? It's just going to show up in July. And then here we are in July. They're going to start bringing out all of the Halloween stuff. Because my wife works at the Dollar Tree. So she tells me when, like, the Halloween stuff, the shipments start coming in. And last year, it started coming in July. And I was like,
That's
man,
wild.
we're only 2 months away now from July.
I know.
And we're going to start seeing the stuff.
I love Halloween. I really, really do. And I appreciate it any time of year. However, the old fusty part of me still really, really loved when things were seasonal and that you had that anticipation and you had to look forward to it and you were kind of living in the season. Like I was a September baby, so not that far off, end of September baby.
Yeah.
And there was never anything Halloween out when I was a kid. I desperately wanted a Halloween themed birthday party my entire childhood. And my mother would just be like, no, it is September. There will be, because there was just nothing available. And it would have at that time seemed completely out of place. So I think when I was 11, we compromised and I was allowed to have my birthday at a purportedly haunted inn in Massachusetts, in Ashland, Massachusetts. Johnstone's Inn. It's still there, the inn. But yeah, so we had a haunted inn themed birthday party where we all got to take a tour of the spooky attic.
Nice.
And everybody was gifted a copy of Scary Stories of New England or whatever it was book that featured the inn in it as part of it. But yeah, like I miss that seasonality of it. I really, really do, because I feel like it was such an immersive experience. Every time of year was, because you had to live in it in that moment. And I feel like we've lost a lot of that living in the moment stuff.
Yeah, we and definitely
I feel
have.
like, yeah, I feel like it's a easier way to be happy when you're trying to live in the moment instead of worrying about what's happening here and sort of worrying about what's happening there. Like people now, if you look at the chats and stuff on the internet, they're like, we have to get our Halloween decorations from Home Depot as soon as they come out or they will be gone, you know, or whatever it is. And I miss being able to casually go out the door in October and be like, yeah, I'm going to go buy some Casper themed stuff because it's October.
Yeah.
Instead of getting to the store in October and being like, yeah, that all sold out back in August.
Yeah, that's one thing that I also feel like should go more seasonal instead of doing it so early, because it gets to the point, like I've been doing this show for many years now, where October, you know, I celebrate Halloween pretty much the entire year. So when actual Halloween comes around, it gets to the point where you're just like, yeah, I'm kind of burnt out on it, even though it's the season. But it's been Halloween nonstop for the past 4 years for me. And it feels like, because now that we're, you know, we did Haunted America, we did what's the other one? The Dark Record.
Yes.
Like those things are very time consuming. So when it's the Halloween season, I don't really have much time to enjoy it because I'm constantly either recording, writing scripts, doing research, and Halloween just comes and goes now. Same with Christmas. Christmas is starting to just come and go. So the longer it's here, I don't have, it seems weird, but the longer it's here, the less time I have to enjoy it. But if it was,
I agree.
If it was only here for a small window of time, I think I would enjoy it more for that small window of time than I would trying to, you know, enjoy it in September or in August.
There was a real desire, wasn't there, to like squeeze every last ounce out of it.
Yeah.
When you only had that little tiny window to enjoy it. And like there was no going to a streaming service and watching The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like it was on public television and you watched it when it was broadcast or you missed it.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah.
As time went on, you know, you could buy things on VHS or on DVD, but like for the most part, I was still watching them seasonally. That's not to say I didn't start getting excited about Halloween during odd times of year. I did, because pretty much every member in my family has been tortured and forced to sit through like Megan's Halloween in, I don't know, April, or Megan's Christmas in July, or whatever it was. Like I would just get a bit overexcited, but it would be like an event that I would put on from my very indulgent family.
Nice.
Who obviously loved me. very much to put up with it.
Yeah.
And then it would be done. Like it'd be a few days thing. I would say I'm into this week.
Right.
But then I would go back to just waiting patiently for whatever it was. Like even things like foods. My husband and I were talking about that. I, putting it on the line here for the record,
Yeah.
love candy corn.
So do I.
I know it's a love it or hate it thing. I love it. And the little mallow pumpkins and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really loved it when you could only get it in the fall.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you didn't see that stuff anywhere until the end of September.
Yeah.
And then it was there through like October and Thanksgiving, and that was it. It was gone. But then they started doing, the Christmas colored ones and Easter colored ones. And same thing with like Peeps at Easter.
Yeah.
Peeps were just an Easter thing. Now they do them for kind of every holiday in different colors and shapes and stuff. And I'm just not a fan. I have to have my stuff seasonally. I don't know if anyone else feels the same, but it was just part of, I don't know, the magic of it. It's like Halloween night itself. It's this build up, and then it comes and you get to enjoy it. And then you wake up the next morning and it's gone. The magic has just fizzled out until next year. And for me, that was just so special. And it was pretty much half of the enjoyment was the build up to it. So you had that whole month of October, which we're kind of complaining that things start in July now. But I know, I lived in England and I lived in Ireland, and over there, Halloween is a day. At best, maybe it's 2 days, Halloween night, maybe the day before if it's a weekend. But in America, where I grew up anyway, it was always the month of October was kind of Halloween month, and it still is. But it was special that October was Halloween month, and that November was Thanksgiving month, and December was Christmas month. It wasn't this sort of bleed through of all the different holidays. It was just the anticipation was more than half the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think another thing too is because of school, I knew October was going to be the Halloween month because that's when they started decorating for, like, they put the Halloween decorations up at school. The calendar magically changed to like this ghost calendar, and it only did it in October. So I expect it to only be in October, but I understand that, you have to get the product out early. You need to have enough time for it to distribute, and you can't just start doing it in October because it won't be till probably mid-October before it starts showing up in stores. Because of travel and things like that. So I get that it needs to come out early.
I get the distribution side, but don't put it out till maybe the last week in September.
Yeah. I mean, there's people out there going like, no, forget you guys. It needs to needs to be out in January. I'd be like, well.
We've got a bunch of angry podcast fans going, what are you talking about? It should be on the shelves all year.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there that would agree that the stuff needs to kind of stay in the season, in the moment, because you can't really be in the moment when the moment is 3 months long. Like you just can't. You can't be in that moment. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Don't get me wrong. I love spooky stuff all year.
Yeah.
Like there's no season on ghost stories or paranormal. Like I like spooky stuff absolutely all year. But in terms of pumpkins and sort of all those specific tropes that are just so Halloween specific, and like I said, foods, candies, I only really want them in October. maybe the last week in September.
Yeah.
Just in time for my birthday.
Yeah.
It's like, Meghan has arrived. Halloween may start.
But that's not to say on the Halloween podcast we're not going to celebrate it all year long, because we definitely are.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like I said, I love it all year long.
Yeah.
But there's part of me who still wishes that the physical, that's a better way to put it. It's not the themed things, it's the physical things.
Okay.
Like the foods and the things that you can actually pick up off a shelf, bring home, and put out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's more about the physical items and like the tastes and the smells and things like that I'm like, that put me in the moment more so than other things.
Yeah.
I like to study about things all year and talk about things all year. But when it comes to anything that's tangible, that sort of gives you, don't they say that like your sense of smell has something, it's like more to do with your nostalgia or your memory than almost any other sense? Like even more than sight.
Yeah.
So if you smell something, stuff like that, like I don't know about you, but for me, the smell of 90s Halloween was very much a mix of kind of plastic and wax.
Yeah.
Scented wax, and kind of various plastic items. Like when you showed me that video of the little googly ghost, I knew exactly what that smelled like. My brain immediately went for, yep, I know what that smelled like.
Yeah, went to that smell of plastic. And who knows what else.
And the smell of the fog machines. Again, fog machines now are kind of scentless.
Yeah.
But back then, they had this very specific smell. Like if you were going through a haunted house attraction, you could smell it as you were walking up to it because of the smell that came from that fake fog stuff.
Right. Well,
and the smell of the inside of a Halloween mask. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, actually. I do. To me, it almost smelled, it had a faint smell of vanilla for some reason. I don't know.
Yes, it did. We had a Yoda mask at our house for the longest time, and that you would put it on and it almost smelled like vanilla or pipe smoke or something like that. Yeah.
Crazy. Well, I got it queued up, sort of. I heard something here. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna hit play again. This howling noise. It might play it again. It's gonna come up any moment now. But
I hear it.
That howl.
Yeah.
It is the same exact howl that has played in a lot of the old time radio shows that I've done. That same exact howl.
Nice.
I know it because I've heard it millions of times. Like I said on the show, I used to work for a place called Berg Electric in the accounting department, and I would sit there for 8 hours straight in front of a computer, paying bills, listening to old time radio shows, and I can instantly pick out that noise. That is 100% from episodes that I've heard.
And is this still chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house that we're listening to?
Yeah.
So apparently a lot of the things that are in this were sampled from original Disney recordings from cartoons that they made in the 1930s. Like, do you remember that one that they made where Mickey opens a ghost hunting business? Lonesome Ghosts, it's called. Like a lot of them were sampled from Lonesome Ghosts and from a lot of those original Disney cartoons and reused for this album.
Right. That's nice.
So you would have definitely heard them all over the place in other Disney cartoons down the years.
Nice. Well, that is chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house.
And I love it. And here's me making a liar out of myself because this is May, and I'm like, I just want to listen to this the rest of the day.
Well, you listen to it your morning, so
yes.
Now you can relive it the rest of the day. But yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for our episode on these Halloween sounds from the not just from the 90s, but I guess from the beginning of records and pretty much sound media, because we went back
from
pretty
the beginning
far.
of sound effects as an official thing.
Yeah.
Back in the 1920s and 30s.
And who knows where 20 years from now what we're gonna do. We might end up doing full circle, and we might go back to analog stuff and sound effects and doing it yourselves, recording your friends to scream into a microphone for a little bit. And there you go. You got yourself.
That is going to keep getting more and more immersive. We're all going to end up doing virtual reality soundscapes.
Yeah, you're going to start
Halloween
smelling these sounds. It's going to be weird. You're going to smell them all.
And people who never lived through it will be able to experience the wonder of a 90s Halloween in full 3D.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, Megan, thank you so much for being on here with me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Lyle. It's been a pleasure as always.
And thank you guys so much for listening. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. You guys have a good night.
Thank you so much, folks.